Hello there, Aquarius, Aquarius Rising, and Aquarius Moon people. This is your weekly astrological and card horoscope for the week starting August 14th, 2017. And a quick reminder for all of you out there, if you ever do want to get a session with me, you do need to go to my website, integrativemysticism.com. It's the same place you would go to order a copy of the Tarot HOMESTUDY course. So, anywho, let's get down to business. What's going on with your astrology this week? Hi Rambo, just in time. So, this week, when it comes to your astrology, it's all about Venus, planet of love, harmony, and peace, and it's currently moving through your 6th house of work and reputation. Well, on Tuesday, however, Venus is going to be making an opposition to Pluto, currently retrograde, in your 12th house of your past, your privacy, and your hidden zone. And while things seem to be going extremely well for you in the area of your reputation, there could be an issue going on with possibly somebody from your past who's looking to maybe stir up old dirt. You know, sometimes that can happen where a person may be looking in on us. They see we're doing okay, whether it's a family member that we don't talk to anymore, a bad friend or whatever. And there seems to be a bit of an issue where you do need to be able to actually, hold this person accountable for their responsibility, for growing up and moving on as well. Whatever their issue is. But when we have Venus and Pluto in an opposition, sometimes those jealousy issues, those envy issues, or again, those old grudges come back. And you may have to face somebody who, maybe a year has passed for you, but it doesn't feel like this person's moved an inch. On Thursday, we've got Venus in the same area forming a tight square to Jupiter, currently in your 9th house of your higher education, government legal proceedings, travel, as well as broadcasting. And things seem to be going extremely well, even though it's a pressure square. Venus and Jupiter just don't tend to make a bad mix no matter how you put them. And when Venus and Jupiter in a square, you may be actually noticing a project or a plan that you've put into motion, whether it's a writing project, an ad campaign, a web-based business, or possibly something to do with your higher education or academic performance, is suddenly blowing up in the best of ways possible. However, be careful, this does seem to be a runaway train type of energy, because Venus and Jupiter tend to create a bit of a binge. It may be a little hot to handle, and a lot developing a little quicker than you could have anticipated. But ride the good fortune anyway. This will stick with you while Jupiter continues his trek through this area of your chart all the way up through early October. So what is going on with your cards this week? Speaking of runaway trains, we have the Bull for your spiritual advice. And the Bull is basically saying, again, it's alright to actually push things forward that seem to be going a bit sluggish. But the thing about the Bull that you've got to remember is that the Bull is always in the present. Okay, the Bull is somebody who, it's something who charges forward. We have actual forward movement and progress. And this week we may have some issues come up where people or circumstances want you to sit and dwell, whether it's sit and dwell on the past or sit and dwell on problems that nobody wants to solve. And the Bull is basically saying here, you don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. And the problem with the dwelling every once in a while is that, and the processing, it's great. It can be therapeutic, absolutely. And it does, old emotions, old feelings do need to be processed. But when we start to think that because once feels good, 1,000 times must be great, we're missing the point. It's not meant to be overindulged. And there may be something going on with the Bull where you're going to have to be able to charge ahead. You've got vultures up here in the corner, which are basically talking all about, again, people looking to kind of feed on that which is gone and done. And, the Bull doesn't really have time for that. You got to pay attention to this week to where things are meant to be aiming forward and get on that track. The Bull can also talk about a need to pay attention to where, the needs of the results will outweigh the needs of the issues that a person may have. And I know that sounds cold, I know that sounds unfeeling, but have you seen the world today? For your Earth sector, when it comes to your work and finances, we do have the Knight of Cups reversed. And the Knight of Cups reversed is kind of interesting because we do have somebody getting a bit close for comfort. I'm getting a vibe of somebody even trying to ride your coattails this week when it comes to your work and finances. And the Knight of Cups reversed can indicate somebody who's again, getting a bit clingy, a bit attached, whether this is a coworker, or maybe a really needy client or a customer, or somebody that we've been collaborating with. Financially, however, this can be a really good card, but be careful to make sure that somebody is not overstepping their bounds by using whatever money they have to buy up all of your time. You know, one of the things that I will say, also being in business for myself, you've got to be careful of people who, think that, they will just buy you from everyone else you intend to work with. You're not doing your job at that point. You are their indentured servant. And you've got to be careful this week. A situation like that may come to challenge you. For your communications with air, when it comes to your friends, your relatives, and the others in your life, we do have the Four of Wands upright. Beautiful card in this area. It does look like there's going to be some kind of breakthrough on some kind of initiative that has been trying to go forward with a friend or a relative, or maybe even a whole household that's been dragging its feet. But we actually have a cause for celebration actually erupting from this card. Whether this is finally some pay dirt, or possibly actually somebody coming to you with good news, with a find or a lead that they know and you will know is very promising, remains to be seen. But what the Four of Wands upright is also saying is that, you're going to be finding ways to actually get into the right crew and actually get into a group of people who resonate with you. And you may actually find a lot of those people were already in your midst. They just needed to work on actually getting into that place of performing, and that is where this week will go. For your challenge this week with fire, we've got the Nine of Pentacles upright. Not a bad challenge at all, because it really doesn't speak to any overarching challenges. It really doesn't say there's anything all that wrong this week, so it looks like a lot of Aquarians get off easy. However, the Nine of Pentacles can talk about, again, early payoff, or things coming faster than we could have expected. And it's important to know when not to reap all those rewards all at once. Save some for later, okay? Whether it's a payout or a payoff of any kind, the Nine of Pentacles as a challenge is basically saying, again, we talk about that binge energy with Venus square Jupiter. A lot of people are going to be tempted to wring out a wet towel for all the water that's in it right away. This might not necessarily be the right energy for that. There's an early payoff, or again, something's taking off much faster than you may have thought you had availability or time for. The important thing is not to milk it too much right now. You can savor this. For your emotions with water and your romantic life, we do have the Eight of Cups upright. A lot of you single Aquarians who may have been talking to somebody or flirting around, maybe you've gone on a date or two, may actually find something else this week. Some of you may actually be moving on to another prospect. And the Eight of Cups upright is actually saying that that might be the wise thing to do. We could be also walking away from a situation that just does not seem to be ending. Again, sometimes we have those situations where, we're still confused about whether something's ever going to take off. Maybe it's an on-again, off-again relationship, and we just don't know if we're on or off for good. The Eight of Cups upright is basically saying we're taking one of those options off the table for the sake of conclusiveness and the ability to actually move forward, which is really good. We also have the Eight of Cups upright, for those of you who are currently coupled, saying that you and your partner unanimously are going to make an agreement to drop or walk away from an influence on your relationship or even on your family that is no longer working. We could actually be literally thinking of physically moving, or we could be actually deciding, let's not invite, that relative, to do X, Y, and Z. He's really unpleasant, and it just doesn't make for a good atmosphere, and it's starting to affect us and, again, the family, or, I'm not really feeling that friend anymore. She's been, really controlling, bit of a Budinsky, and she just starts drama wherever she goes. And if you and your partner have had a hard time reaching a consensus about the truth, about whatever this person or the situation is, this week you'll have it. So that is your horoscope, Aquarius. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. And of course, if you ever want to get a session with me, you can always follow the links below, or go to integrativemysticism.com.